Good evening, everybody. We got here a 1v1 between two pretty well-known players in Barles and Yo. Both these players have been around for quite a while. Yo just slightly longer than the other, but it should be a good one. A 1v1 here, random map. We are playing on Acclivity, and let's get right into it. So we do have in the red playing as the Berbers, Barles, and then his enemy in the blue is going to be Yo, and he is playing as the Cumans. So both probably going to see some cavalry out of both of these players, but what I would love to see is, obviously with the Cumans, that fast feudal into the second TC. It's so hard to compete against, and it's so hard to get any sort of aggression if there's a TC protecting another gold. I mean, a TC right here would protect berries, it would protect gold, it would protect woodline. TC here would protect gold, it would protect wood. It would be great. But it all depends on how this plays out from Barles' perspective. Berbers, of course, another great civilization when it comes to cavalry. With those cheap knights, they can just flood the map with cavalry so easily compared to other civilizations. Both players just starting to scout out around the map. Of course, Barles, he's been in the scene on and off for about 10 years now, really getting more and more well known and cracking. He's in the top 5 right now as of the recording of this. And Mr. Yo, of course, has been around for years. He's one of the oldest, most consistent players in Age of Empires. I remember seeing him play 10 years ago easily, and he was dominating back then, and he still is. Both these players capable of beating pretty much anyone in the world, and so we'll see what they do up against one another, as the final sheep have been found, I believe, for both of these players now, and they are pushing in deer, trying to get as much of a food advantage as possible as they work their way up to the next age. Yo is already starting off with a little bit of a house wall, so he's going to wall in here, protect these berries, protect this wood line. And Barles hasn't started too much on the sides, but right along the front, he's going to put houses down. He wants to protect his base as much as possible. Big mistake there from Yo. The cavalry is down, so the scout is down. That is a big deal, especially when you want to be going for any sort of boom. You need to see what's going on with the enemy. That might completely cripple Yo moving forward. That is a big play for Barles, and that puts him way ahead points wise. When it comes to overall score, you know, he is that much ahead, but once we get up to the feudal age, we'll really start to see things come together. So both players at 17 villagers, but of course the scout for Barles is still alive, and that fog of war, not too big yet, but he's going to start scouting around the map. And if you take a look at Yo, he hasn't scouted much at all. He doesn't know where any of the golds are, stone or berries for the enemy, so that is a big deal. You can see there he doesn't see the golds or the stones, and even the wood line that he's chopping on he wasn't able to see, so it could be anywhere. He doesn't realize that it's down to the south here. So Barles gonna get a big advantage if he can continue to scout, and that's gonna make his score lead even more inflated. And as you can see here, Yo just slightly quicker up to the next age. Barles is going to throw in another villager, and he might be thinking more so fast castle. Of course, when you're playing as the Cumans, you have a little bit different of a strategy than what you get out of a regular civilization, and that is just because of the ability to build that second town center. And of course, both players are going to be wary as they reach the next age, but Barles here is going to see villagers chopping wood, and he already has an advantage. He's seen the stone, he sees the lumber camp, he saw this tree, he might expect that the town center is right there, and he sees this wood line as well. Yo, of course, is dropping a barracks. He will need that for defense, and he's walling up, finishing the walls to protect these berries. He might just wall into this town center and be protected. And like I mentioned before, we might even see another town center forward, but of course, he will need a little bit more wood, and he should be there by the time he hits the next stage. So town center here would be fairly good. We'll see if he ends up going forward with it, and he doesn't. He goes for an archery range instead, losing that scout. Of course, you don't want to be too vulnerable, so he goes for that archery range, and now we're going to see a little bit more back and forth. Barles with the advantage right now. He knows what's going on, but there's a spearman out in defense for Yo. Archery range does go up, and we will see archers coming out pretty quick here. And nothing yet as far as military buildings apart from the barracks. And there you go, archery range for the Berbers. So we are going to see archer opens for both of these players, and then see what sort of transitions we get as we get further into the game. Spearman still scouting out. That spearman needs to find out a little bit of information. They know nothing about the base. Does see the gold here. Gonna see a wood line here. So that is great information in and of itself. And now with one archer out, Barles is forced to retreat behind his walls. So the walls going to be completed as we have a second archery range coming up for Mr. Yo. And this spearman does just delay as much as possible, especially with this archer coming forward. That's all that the spearman really needs to do at this point. The archer and the spearman can't really compete, especially with this scout coming in, taking out that skirmisher. So free skirmisher, that's the beauty of having a scout when the enemy does not, is you can take out those sorts of units without any worry. And so now one more archer. We'll see what the engagement comes out, and this scout's going to beat another free unit. So mind you that Yo lost that scout for free under the town center, and the scout of Barles has already been able to do significant damage against this archer and cause a skirmisher to completely go down. Back at home now, we do see a few villagers standing idle, ready to go forward. What is Yo going to be doing? We will see a forward, but what will that be? Will it be a tower on the wood line, or will it be a tower back here to get to that gold? We'll see, as the villagers just in the middle right now, and there's nothing as of yet built. So looks like they're going to come to this side, try to break down this fenced off palisade, but we do have skirmishers already, so it's 3 skirmishers. Definitely the archers have the advantage just in numbers and in range and attack, and with this tower going up, this gold will be inaccessible for Barles. Back at home, Yo is just keeping on the pressure as we see tower in response from Barles. That tower will go up just because of the number of villagers, but those are all weak villagers building that tower, and so both towers will go up, and we will see a little bit of a tower war. The advantage goes to Barles just because of the fact that he's sitting at home while the enemy is forward. There is one thing to note: 5 + 1. Okay, there we go. Fletching just comes in for Barles, but little bit of a back and forth here as a stable goes up for Mr. Yo. So once a couple scouts come out, that will take out the skirmishers no problem. And Mr. Yo is not fully walled at all. He's very open in the back here. These 3 skirmishers, while they are just skirmishers, will still be able to do quite a bit of damage, as the skirmisher taken out quickly by Mr. Yo, and the towers are starting to get repairs. Villagers having to dodge the arrow fire as they repair, try to fix what they can, and then a scout is out. Back here we will see skirmishers attacking the stone, but sorry, right now the big news is Mr. Yo taking out a villager, taking out 2, and this tower is good as gone for Barles. So big loss as he's repairing as much as he can, but trying to attack on the other side. Skirmishers just so weak against villagers, and the scout unable to get too much damage in, as we see archers on the other side trying to pick off anything they can on the wood line, and villagers repairing where possible. So Barles has lost a lot of villagers, 33 villagers to 38 right now, and the scout will be able to clean up these skirmishers, especially with the help of the villagers. So shouldn't be any concern there. This will be cleaned up by the scout. I doubt a single villager will even die, as this scout is taking out that last skirmisher. In the meantime, we had a little bit of a raid, but that was cleaned up very easily by the skirmishers and spearmen of Barles, and now archers able to take out what they can, and both players are going to be looking to get to the next age as soon as possible. When we look at next age levels, it's going to be quicker for Barles, so can he hold off for now? He knows that there's a possibility that the Cumans build that second town center. Of course, it took quite a while as Yo had to go aggressive just because of his loss of that scout. So second town center is now going up for Mr. Yo. He's staying in feudal age for the long run. Barles, though, walling up with palisades. He's got houses behind. He's got a market here. He's going to make his way up to the castle age shortly, and he's got a counter coming around. Will he be able to deny this town center? It is at 80%, so he is just a little bit too late. The town center will go up. These skirmishers and spearmen will have to run away. As you can see here, he sees that town center going up, and he has to run right away. Spearmen very weak. One spearman down, the other one just about, as the massive archer army with some scouts moving forward for Mr. Yo, who just goes by Yo, by the way, and I've been calling him Mr. Yo just out of habit from his older usernames. So the archers for Yo going to loop around. There is a full wall off for Barles, and he is getting bloodlines right now, so we will see that switch into those extremely powerful knights once the castle age is hit. A couple of knights could clean up this army very easily, but the question is, how long can Barles last? There is a 11 villager lead right now for Yo, which is only going to grow as he has 2 town centers, so the need for aggression is growing every minute for Barles. Now a 13 villager lead just like that, as skirmishers are going to try to protect, but 2 skirmishers cannot compete against 10 archers, especially once we get some scouts in the mix. We have knights queued up right off the bat. We have skirmishers in the queue. We have scale barding armor coming in, and Yo is going to have to run just a little bit. Opening is out, and 2 knights are already forward with skirmishers. Is this the moment that Barles needs to get back into the game? He is trying to keep up with villagers as much as possible, but what can he really do at this point in time? 2 knights are moving around, going to try to engage against these archers. Lots of weak archers in here. Can 2 knights clean it up? Can the skirmishers engage against these scouts? Well, they definitely can now that the knights are back in. These 2 knights, just like that, that is the power of Castle Age units versus Feudal Age. Those 2 knights able to clean up 10 archers just like that. And now on the offensive, trying to break through this palisade. It won't take very long for a knight to break through, so a tower is going up for Yo in his base. These 2 town centers so important right now, protecting that stone, but he doesn't have safe gold, so he needs this tower to be up, and he needs to wall it as soon as it goes up. Castle Age is 20 seconds away for Yo, and after that he will need to switch into some sort of Castle Age units as he's walling up behind here. He has the tower out, but this knight's so strong able to fight right underneath. They've got +1 armor so far. They're taking out the archery range, and we see in response camel riders going to be coming forward. Yo still not giving up. Will this tower drop? It is so close, and it just gets repaired. That is brutal. Knights take out the first archery range. Monk is coming out. He needs a couple of monks to engage against these camels. We will see a lot of camel riders coming out for the Cuman player, and camels will clean up this army so easily, but just the mass right now of knights, so many out there, and they're split up like this. These camels will chew right through them. So the monk, smart, takes the relic, dies, but he got that relic first. Skirmishers going to try to engage, and there are a lot of camels on the field right now. Knights just get shredded by these camels. You take a look at these comparables. Only 5 camels able to do so much damage. Once this last knight falls, the skirmishers will fall alongside it, and that is it for the advantage that Barles had with his quicker castle age. Monastery is now under attack from the camels, and these camels are massed a lot. 8 forward, now 9, as a monastery is going up for himself. And in response, we do have camel riders for Barles. Both of these players trying to gain whatever sort of advantage they can, but the slightly stronger camels belong to the Cuman player, who has +1 attack already on them. Only +1 defense right now for Barles. Having to engage, tries to get a conversion. Will he get even one? No. The monks go down. The camels are able to fight off and save the monastery, but at what cost? As a castle is now going up right on the front of Yo's base. Yo able to protect his economy if he can get this castle up. The quick walls in for Yo, blocking out the camels. This castle will go up now, and we see a big answer for the question of whether Barles' push was enough. These walls were able to hold him back for the time, and the economy for Yo is just so much stronger now. 18 villager lead at this point in time. Big military advantage. This tower just able to stay up, and he will begin the raids now, as this monastery will fall, but the relic was saved before. So there is a monastery in the base of Barles. The relic will be safe inside of it, and this knight able to pick off 1 or 2 villagers, but still, how much of an effect does that have when there's a 19 villager lead for the enemy? 1 last villager goes down. This knight able to engage a little bit underneath the castle fire, but not for long, or underneath the town center fire, not for long. We do have lots of idols right now for Yo, but he is sending them back to work now that that knight is cleared out. Big mass for Yo. These are very weak. Overall, less than half HP on these units right here. In the meantime, Barles is healing up his units as quickly as possible. He has much more HP when it comes to his army, and he is able to engage, and this is really important, that while there is an HP lead, it is 3 versus 9. So that is a big deal there, as a second town center is now going up for Barles. He's going to try to catch up as much as possible with this safe gold and these safe wood lines, but I think this army of Yo is going to get trapped, and it is going to get destroyed. As the monk is moving forward, he will get a conversion. And look at this engagement. Just always a bad thing when you have to run through the enemy to get out. Monks are falling down left and right. Monks have fallen all over the place and down to only 177 HP overall. Looks like Barles needs a castle of his own in response, but he's got the military lead at this point in time. When it comes to the economy, he is nowhere close still. And so he is 23 villagers behind. This town center could get a couple of free shots, a couple of free kills, but Barles not quite quick enough with that pathing, and Barles has to run from this town center with only 3 camels. 1 will fall. And now we have a 3rd town center for Barles, so both will be on 3 town centers, but Barles needs something big here, and that something big might just be this gold mine right here. Can he take out the miners? Can he get into this gold mine and take out what Yo has? Hard to say at this point in time, as he's trying to defend at home, trying to see what he can do. This house will fall eventually. One of these houses or this palisade, and then these few villagers will be taken out. But we'll see if it gets to that point, as Yo is going up to the Imperial Age. Mind you, he does have a castle, so if he can get trebuchets out, sit near this castle and start trebbing down the military buildings, that will be a big deal, as Barles does get a couple of conversions. Great play by Barles, really won that engagement strongly, but the kip checks are out for Yo, and the camels were unable to break through to get this gold. So Kipchaks, once massed, so strong, but of course very low HP units. 4 mounted units there, fairly weak. Interesting choice for a castle here. I would have preferred it a little bit more forward to protect this choke point a bit better, but of course Barles does not quite know what Yo has in store, so he does have to play it very safely. Big cleanup here from the camels, so Barles is all over the place right now, attacking all over the economy of Yo, both on the north and on the south. Able to pick off some villagers, but still a 15 villager lead for Yo, as these villagers on the gold will be protected. The house might fall, but the Kipchaks will be able to take out the army. And the Imperial Age is about to be hit, so what will come out of this Imperial Age? We see Kipchaks coming out still. A trebuchet is queued up, and what sort of upgrades can we expect from Yo? Now that he has the advantage, he gets chemistry right away. Wants to make sure he gains any sort of advantage that he can. A siege workshop coming forward for Barles. He knows something's going to be attacking him. If the Kipchak movement is in, getting some battering rams, siege rams would be great, but he's still in the castle age, and he's a long ways away from clicking up, as these camels completely picked off. That will totally destroy him, and this trebuchet will be safe under the 2nd castle now. It will start to treb down the castle of Barles, and he's making camel archers of his own. Camel archers are very strong units, but of course going to be hard to mass them without town center, without castles. So the camels are attacking this town center in the meantime, but the town center will still go up. Will it be able to be taken down in quick enough time? We will see, as villagers are falling and are being destroyed. The villager count very close now, and for the first time in the game, Barles has a villager lead as the siege workshop is being attacked. Battering rams are coming out, but we do have it being attacked, and we have camel archers being massed up, so this castle is still safe. And Yo doesn't know about this castle. Suddenly this hidden castle placement, very smart movement, as 2 battering rams are going forward, but all alone. Will the monks get any conversions of any of these Kipchaks? Kipchaks running away under the protection of the castles. This trebuchet, it falls now. That is great, as the camel knight army of Barles is cleaning up these villagers in the south. We now have a 15 villager lead for Barles. Barles has the economic lead, but he is so far behind for technology. He is in the Castle Age, he's playing against Imperial Age units, and a castle is being dropped right on his front doorstep. What can he do in response to this castle? That is the question. Well, the answer is always the same: a castle of his own. But Barles, he doesn't have the advantage for villagers. There's so many villagers here farming, but he's not going to get his castle up in time. He is going to try to take out the enemy villagers as much as possible, but he needs more villagers on his castle. He finally gets them on his castle as he attacks the forward villagers building the enemy's castle. In the meantime, he's got in to this gold and he is taking out Kipchaks. He is fighting underneath the town center. There is battle all over the map right now as two trebuchets are attacking this castle for Barles. But was he able to do enough damage? I do not know. He does have a big villager lead, but still, 83 villagers in the Imperial Age is a lot different than in the Castle Age. And this army still running around on the east side of the map, getting pickoffs on the north. Barles has done such a great job of staying in this game, but the Imperial Age might just be too much for him to respond to as his town center is being attacked now by a castle, and it will fall eventually. He's trying to build one really quickly on the south of his base, but now the trebuchets have changed their path. They're taking out the last castle that he has, and that is now 4 trebuchets attacking it with a big mass of Kipchaks behind. 26 Kipchaks in total in just this group alone. There's more across the map cleaning up the raids as well. Barles never going to click to the Imperial Age, and this might be it for him. I don't know how he can engage against this army, especially with castles protecting it. He really needs a strong push, but what can he do against such a powerful army? Kipchaks are so difficult to engage against once they get upgraded and massed. And so here we have the engagement. This is it. Barles needs to fight against it now or never will. And the Kipchaks able to take out those knights so easily. But of course, Camel Archers very strong against anything that's cavalry. And so they are able to do a bit of damage, but just so many Kipchaks. It's so hard to fight against them. And that is it. Yo wins the game. After losing that scout right off the bat, he went full aggression, and look how it paid off. Fantastic play.